Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Hump Day edition of the JP Peterson Show. The NFL schedule comes out tonight, or maybe it's already out, and Peter has a copy of it. Yeah, we'll find out about that here in the show. The Rays blow one in Boston. What do you say? And we got a big-time recruit for USF basketball. Things are changing over at USF in terms of hoops. We're going to talk to the man that knows all things local hoops, the great Coach David Zimroth will join us at 10:30. At 11 o'clock, John Gerber, our PGA pro, will get some picks for the PGA Championship. I'm picking that Rory's ex-wife will get a lot of money. I'm predicting that. Predicting she's going to clean up. Never made a putt. She'll get millions of dollars. Never hit a chip shot. Never made a sand shot. She'll get millions of dollars.
Gotta love that.
You gotta love that. That's good work if you can get it. All right, welcome into the big show today. Good morning to you, Peter Blake from the Sports Web. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. Happy Hump Day, of course. And the Rays last night, disappointing, had every opportunity to win that game. God. And look, when you listen to the sound from Kevin Cash, it certainly seems like he's irritated. He even mentioned it. I think there's a lot of Rays fans out there that are irritated with losing that game last night because it's just situational baseball, right? I mean, it's
Little league stuff, man. Little league stuff.
I mean, if a guy is playing, if your infield is playing in for the run, it means that you're basically going home at that point. So why is the pitcher hesitating? Why aren't you going home? And then, Kevin Cash kind of doubles down on it, saying it's his fault, but I think he's kind of trying to pull a Todd Bowles. But what's the most important thing when it comes to NFL football or any sports in general? Situational
preparation. Know where you're going with the freaking ball, man. Yeah.
Right.
We're going to jump right into the Rays. Let's set it up, Peter. A lot of good things happened last night for the Rays. A lot of good things happened for them. Pete Fairbanks looked good last night. He looked good. He looked mean. He looked ornery.
Yeah.
That was the all-encompassing not suck. It was not the specific suck. That was an all-encompassing good. So I loved seeing Pete Fairbanks back. You got to have him. We're going to do anything. The Rays are going to do anything. You got to have Pete Fairbanks doing his thing. So that was good. Randy hits a freaking bomb out on Lansdowne Street. Holy crap. He smoked that ball out of – he's starting to heat up. That's good. Josh Lowe, a couple extra base hits, home run and a double. So a lot of good things happened. Aranda's back. Savali even pitched okay. Got through the fifth inning. Anyway.
13-game streak where he's on base now. So he's and he actually hit the ball to right field. He didn't pull everything. He hit the ball to right field, and imagine it was a base hit for a run there. So good for him.
Yeah, so a lot of good things going on. What else happened? Clevenger was good last night. He's been freaking lights out. A lot of good stuff happening. But man, the thing that you've seen all year long from this Rays team that is so uncharacteristic is horrible defense. And that's not even, making a bad play in terms of, booting the ball. That's just mental. That's your mentals. You got to take care of your mentals, right? This is where Washington Lynch said, you got to take care of your mentals.
Yeah.
And that was so much was wrong on that play. Setting it up, it's in the 11th inning. The Rays are up by a run. It's first and third, one out for the Red Sox. My first question is, why the hell are you playing the infield in? Why are you playing the infield in? A ground ball, double play, Ref Snyder's up, it ends the game. And if you don't turn two, if by chance you don't get it, you're still tied, and no runner in scoring position. So I think, first of all, the strategy was not good. I think you play back and you play for the double play. And if that's the case, you're turning two. Now, they didn't have their A team in. Caballero had also already been subbed out at shortstop. Maybe that comes into it, but it shouldn't. He's a major league shortstop. He's played the position. He knows how to play the freaking position. If you can't turn two, what are you doing out there? I mean, I've heard people say, well, it wasn't the A team. Well, that should never come into it. If you're a major league shortstop and a second baseman you turn to freaking 2. I mean, this is not, rocket science here. And if you don't get to turn, then you're still in the game, but you have the opportunity to get out of it. And, given what happened, that should have been an easy double play. If you're playing at regular depth, that's an easy double play. Game's over, you win. So that decision right there cost you the game to play the infield in. But if you're playing the infield in, okay, there is no decision for the freaking pitcher. The pitcher should know, ball hit back to me, I'm going home.
Thank you.
Infield's in. And
right.
I know Richie Palacio saying, I should have got back there. No. The decision has already been made. You're just what do I do now? Crap. That's not good baseball. It's not good Little League baseball. It's certainly not good professional baseball. When the infield's in, the play's at home. Let's go. And the guy's dead to rights. He's out at home. Now you got you got 2 outs. Now the game's not over, but you got 2 outs and it takes a hit to beat you. So you're in control. Everything you needed to have happen there happened. And you can't be blowing games like this.
Yep.
This is, again, Rays baseball. This is not Rays baseball, what we've seen this year. It's a lot of dumb baseball. It's a lot of bad defense. It just has not been good Rays baseball. The bullpen has not been great. The pitching has not been great in general. This is not, and I understand they're missing a lot of guys, but that had nothing to do with what happened last night. And a lot of these self-inflicted wounds on the base paths, more guys thrown out last night. It's not good baseball. It's not good, tight, clean baseball. And we haven't seen any of that all year long. And you wonder why. Like, why is this Rays team so poor fundamentally?
Huh.
It's mind-boggling. And, listen, I think Kevin Cash is the best manager in baseball. He's having a bad year. He's having a really, really bad year. His team is not playing the way it normally does. It doesn't seem like the team is prepared at times. That last night is inexcusable. It's just not normal. So you got to say, what the hell's going on around here?
Exactly. And then I'll tell you right now, 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position will not help your case at all. I mean, 1 for 12
all year long.
You have opportunities in extra innings to get the guy home. You're not able to do that. A lot of people would say, why not bunt? Well, it would make sense, but for this team, they don't do that. But if you're struggling to score runs and get the run over and get the run home, why not try something new? I don't know. If you do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, what do we call that? Insanity. So do something different. Here's Kevin Cash here after the game. Want to go out to that?
Yes,
Here it goes.
Courtesy of Bally Sports. Let's listen.
You know what? That's probably on me as much as anybody, not communicating and letting the guys know where everybody was positioned. We were playing to get the out at home. Manny popped up and, obviously got a little lost on where to throw the ball, secured the out and got through the inning. He did a nice job overall, but just ideally I give the guys a heads up or the pitcher a heads up where to go. Yeah, there was no thought of turning a double play. When you play in, you're kind of foregoing turning 2. You're trying to get it home. Yeah, I mean, I think the guy on third had some pretty good speed. I mean, that would have been a tough play, so he just secured and got an out. I mean, it's tough to win these extra inning games with just 1 run. You got to do everything perfect, and we did not do that tonight, and it came up. I mean, I was really impressed with the way we competed defensively and the way we pitched there at the end. We did a lot of good things, but the big hit to open the game +1 just didn't come.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, all that, and, I think he's trying to cover for his players a little bit there. The play's at home. He doesn't have to communicate anything. The pitcher looks, where's the infield playing? I mean, obviously someone from the bench should be saying, hey, we're playing the infield in, plays at home. Duh. This is Little League stuff. Come on.
Yeah.
And the pitcher, how does the pitcher not know to go home? The infield's in. Runners on first and third, 1 out. The play's at home. That's bizarre. That's just bizarre. And and I know Cash is trying to put it on himself, and he should put it on himself for having the infield in. I don't get that. Did he explain why he chose to have the infield in there? I'm not sure I heard that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think you're not playing for a double play. You're playing to cut off the tying run.
If the infield's in. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
here's the other thing.
That's
Why
what I
you only
understand about it. If you're playing in and the pitcher knows that and everybody knows that, then of course nobody's going to cover second. So why are you hesitating? You get exactly what you want. You get the ball hit to the pitcher. All you have to do is go home. And instead, you don't even go home because you think that I don't know what he's thinking. And I get it. He's a young pitcher and he's up here and he's bullpen guy and he's all you have to do at this point.
This is pro baseball, bro.
Right.
This is little league stuff. If
Right.
that happened in a little league game or a high school game or a pony league game, your coach would be apoplectic. You'd be like, what are you guys doing? We
Right.
practice this every day. Infield's in, we go home. And again, infield in. Why? Why is the infield in first and third? First of all, in the infield's in, you're giving the batter a significant advantage in terms of getting the ball through. Okay, so why are you giving up that advantage in a game where you have one run and a double play ends the game? What? Why would you do that?
I don't get it.
That to me is the big question. The infield, I don't know what the number is. I think it's 30, 40, maybe 50 points from a batting average standpoint that you give the when you have to bring the infield in. You bring the infield in out of, quote, desperation. That's the winning run. It's less than 2 outs, and you got to get him at home. It's just that just makes no sense to me whatsoever. And then the execution of the play is even worse. So, again, it's a mixed bag. And as Lonnie Wilkins said, it's a 500 team. Win a little, lose a little, and lacking lots of those big plays. Absolutely. I think, Vegas has downgraded them. Preseason, they were at 85.5. Now they're at 81.5 over under. I think I might take the under on that at this point. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's a lot of the same stuff that you're seeing from them. And Romy Gonzalez gets the walk-off at the end and, kind of slaps the ball down the right side, barely fair. So, just bad luck. But, more than anything, that's bad baseball. That's one you have to put in the win column. Yeah, and then your 2 wins at Boston on the road. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And now you're building momentum. Instead, you leave the yard last night going, we pissed that one away. Just pissed it away. And if to a divisional opponent, so every game, coming down to the end, is it going to be you or the Red Sox for a wild card? I don't think the Rays are winning the division. And yeah, very, very likely could. And that's a 2-game swing right there. So at the end of the season, if we're tied with Boston or within 1 game, there you go. And that's just brain fart stuff that when you're, the lowest payrolls, one of the lowest payroll teams in the league, you can't be doing stuff like that. It's magnified. You don't have the talent to outplay people. You've got to outsmart them and play clean baseball. That's always been the Rays way. Always been the Rays way. That's always been their advantage. And this year they've ceded that advantage to everybody. Now, not only are the teams more talented in your division, they're playing cleaner, better baseball. And that's existentially threatening to the Rays. You can't be less talented, low payroll, and play crappy baseball. I'm no baseball expert. I'm no Jeff Passan, but that ain't gonna fly. No. That ain't gonna fly. All right, let's switch gears a little bit here. Well, let me finish up some of the comments here. James says, I agree. What is Cash thinking? You don't need infield in with runners on the corners with 1 out. That just, again, best manager in baseball, but I just don't understand that at all. Christopher Cole says Netflix is working out a deal to broadcast Christmas Day games. There's going to be 2 of them, right? On a Wednesday. Christmas is on a Wednesday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Netflix, by the way. You like that? Because a lot of people were up in arms about Peacock. Now you're going to Netflix. Again, foreshadowing the future there, pay-per-view. I mean, Netflix isn't cheap, by the way. It's like $30 a month if you got the premium edition and everything like that. So
you got to have Netflix these days.
You got to have Netflix, yeah.
You got to have Netflix.
You got to have everything these days, it seems like. Peacock, Netflix.
You got to have your Peacock.
Plus, yeah.
You got to have your Prime, to get free shipping.
There you go.
Got to have Prime. I mean,
yeah. How much are you paying for that?
It's $13 a month. But you get the Prime, you get the video,
right?
You get the shipping, you get all that. God, that's like a must.
So
in this house,
right?
I can't even see the porch for all the Amazon things that are piled up on the porch.
If you add it all up, you have to have all those in order to get, all these NFL games. And then on top of it, Netflix is going to wrestling. And before that, they could have the biggest boxing event of all time besides the roast there with Tom Brady, which, by the way, he got paid $25 million for. So they're shelling out money with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Yeah. I mean.
Oh, when's the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson?
July 20th, and they were facing off the other day.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, wait, is that the weigh-in?
Yeah, I don't know why they did it so soon. You usually do it like a couple of days before, but Tyson and him were like
grab-assing around.
Yeah, and then he's like, throwing like teddy bear punches. I'm like, wow, okay, this is a different Tyson. He's not, trying to kill your children or bite somebody's ear off. He's coming in.
Eat your children.
Eat your children. Yeah,
I'm not gonna kill your children. I'm gonna eat them. But if I eat them, I'll probably kill them. So that's
well, a lot of people think he's going to take a fall, and I don't know. I tend to believe that it's going to be somewhat of a real boxing match. Hopefully, if you're paying that much for pay-per-view and paying on Netflix, it would be real.
Wait! I thought it was on Netflix.
It is on Netflix.
Is it still? So you have to pay extra?
Well, I don't know. That's a great question. I think you still have to buy the fight on Netflix. I still think you have to buy it. I believe. Huh. Don't quote me on that.
All right.
I would think they would charge something besides being on Netflix.
All right, let's move on to the Buccaneers schedule. What are you telling me? You have an advanced copy? What are you telling me here?
Well,
Callie brought me one like 3 years ago that was spot on. I don't know where she got it. I wasn't allowed to say, but I knew it was spot on. Then she brought me one last year or 2 years, the last 2 years ago, that was bogus. So she's batting 500. I blame her. But I haven't got one yet. She's still sleeping.
Okay, well, I got something here. Now take it for what it's worth. But the rumor is that they're going to lead off with, and by the way, tune into the Sports Web tonight at 9 o'clock. You're more than welcome to come on. Mr. J.P. Peterson will have T.J. Reeves, Leo Haggerty, just a little promotion.
Okay.
Washington Commanders on September 8th. Lions on the 15th, which
so we're opening at Washington?
At Washington, yes.
I like opening on the road, by the way.
Yeah. Well, excuse me. You're not opening on the road. You're at home against the Washington Commanders on September 8th. You're on the road at Detroit. Then you come home to Denver on the 22nd. And the 29th, you're at home again with the Eagles. So your first 4 games, 3 of them are at home.
1 o'clock starts?
It doesn't say that. It just says the matchup. It doesn't say the 1 o'clock. So you would assume that some of these are 1, some of these could be 4. Now, primetime games, October 3rd. I told you off air. That's my birthday, of course, Thursday night on the road against Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons. October 21st, the Baltimore Ravens on a Monday night. And November 4th at Kansas City on a Monday night. So you have 2 road games on prime time and then the 1 home game, Baltimore. So 3 primetime games. That is the rumor. Take it for what it's worth. Somebody gave me the information. I'm passing it along. I got more. Okay. I got the whole schedule here. So we're going to match it up, see if I'm wrong, see if I'm right. There you go.
All right. So say it again. So folks can write it down.
Yeah, 9 o'clock tonight, the Sports Web. We'll have the schedule reveal. But the first game is against the Washington Commanders at Raymond James Stadium, September 8th. At Detroit on September 15th, the second game of the season. Of course, the rematch of the divisional playoff game there. Playoffs. September 22nd, come home to face the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix. And then September 29th, also at home versus the Philadelphia Eagles, another rematch of the wild card game. October 3rd, Thursday Night Football at Atlanta against Kirk Cousins. You got, I didn't say this one, 13th at the Saints. And then the 21st, Baltimore at home on Monday Night Football. And then the Falcons then on the 27th at home. November 4th at Kansas City on Monday Night Football. And then you got the 49ers on November 10th, and you got a bye week 11. So there you go. That's the rumor. That's what I've been given. Take it for what it's worth. Mock me if you like. That's what I got.
I don't like the 3 home games. It's just, well, I mean, it's good to get a good start to the season. So that's good. Hopefully you're winning the home games, but that's home hot games, for the fans. For the players, it is what it is.
Right.
But for the fans, that would kind of suck to have 3 September games at home, because I don't, obviously none of those are prime time. So there'll be probably 1:00 games.
Correct.
Washington will be a 1:00 game. At Detroit could be a prime timer.
Yep.
But maybe not second weekend in terms of 4:00.
Yep. After the bye week,
and then Broncos, that's going to be a 1:00.
Yep.
And then Eagles at home, that might maybe be a 4:00.
I think that's a 4. I think that could be a 4.
Yeah. All right. If that's the way it shakes out, that could be you win. You should win your home games, right? You should have that home advantage. God, I hope so against those teams.
Well, here's your second half of the schedule here. Take this for what it's worth again. After the bye week, at the New York Giants.
Oh, that could be a cold weather game.
November 24th. Then at the Carolina Panthers on December 1st. Then you come home and face the Raiders. Then you go back on the road again, which is really weird because you go to the Giants, the Panthers, you stay home, play the Raiders. Then you go back on the road. On December 15th, face the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh. December 22nd, face the Cowboys on the road. And then come home and finish off your season with the Panthers on December 29th. And to be determined when it comes to the Saints. So, again, take that for what it's worth, but that's the big-time rumor roaming around.
Yeah, the schedule is ranked as I think the 5th easiest schedule, which is kind of weird because you get the Panthers – have they go by wins and losses the year before, so it's not really applicable, to be quite honest. But when you look at the opponents, Washington, obviously that's going to be Jaden Daniels' debut, right? If he's the opening day starter,
right?
Then Detroit, obviously you're facing a very good team in Jared Goff, and then the Broncos, you could get 2 rookie starters in your first 3 games. Which you want to get the young guys early on. Then you get I always look at quarterback matchups, right? And then with the Eagles, and these whether the schedule's right or not, this is these are the teams you're going to face. And then obviously Jalen Hurts there against the Eagles, and then then you get Atlanta with Kirk Cousins, or will it be Michael Penix by then?
Yeah.
Intrigue,
my friend. Intrigue. Absolutely.
And then after, I can't read my writing. Who we got after Atlanta? At Atlanta.
Let's see here.
At the Saints?
After Atlanta, it is going to be, it's at the Saints. So
then you got Derek Carr.
yeah,
Mr. Mediocre.
Yeah.
Then you got Lamar. In Baltimore. Yikes.
Well, no, home. You come home. That's a Baltimore Ravens. That's a home game. That's on Monday Night Football.
They're still chasing Lamar around.
Yeah, correct.
Then you got the Falcons again. Then you got Mahomes. And then you got Brock Purdy. I mean, these are some tough quarterbacks, no question about it.
Oh yeah.
Then you got Daniel Jones at the Giants. So may not be him by that time.
Right. Who would it be? Tommy DeVito again?
Who could be? And then
his age there.
Who the hell's going to be quarterback in the Raiders?
The Raiders. I have no idea who's quarterbacking. It's the guy with the mullet who beat the Bucks last year with the
Gardner
Colts.
Minshew.
Yes, the
Gardner
fleet
Minshew.
foot who absolutely earned Devin White
that's right.
Out of the definitely juked him out of his jock there with his run. Yeah, great. It's the reason why Devin White's no longer in a Bucks uniform.
Yeah, many reasons.
Really? Come on, man. Yeah.
Then of course the Cowboys. You got Dak, and then who we played before the Cowboys?
Who you play for before the Cowboys is your Chargers at the Chargers and then at the Cowboys. Yeah,
so you get some a little mix of everything. You got some damn good quarterbacks on there, and you got some not so. You got some young kids as well. So if the start to the season obviously going to be super key. If you can start 3-1, you got a lot of road games late. That could be tough. That could be wearing on you.
Yeah.
Jeremy Lowe said O'Connell will start for the Raiders, Aiden O'Connell. But I don't know. It could be Gardner Minshew. You don't know. It's not Jimmy Garoppolo. That's for sure.
That's right. Exactly. He's out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Where did he end up with the Rams, right?
Yeah. Buck's Basement says, the Rays own the Red Sox, JP. This Rays team got swept by the White Sox. They don't own anyone. Historically, they've, the last few years they've owned the Red Sox. Boston has been our bitch and should have been last night. Should have won the series last night.
Yep.
Should have won the series right there. You had it right there. Got exactly what you needed. But
it's a simple play that you have to make at the end of the day, and you'll look back at it, and Rays fans will look back at it. And if you fall short from a couple games, then you'll look back at one of those games like this and say, man, what could have been? You could have had this game. You should have had this game. Again, 1 for 12 doesn't help. Savali was okay, 3 runs, still not where I think you want him to be as a starting pitcher, but improved, I guess, 3 runs.
Light years ahead of it last night, especially where he's been. James brings up a great point, which is one of the great mysteries in football. Bowles D never plays well against rookie quarterbacks. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. He'll hold Pat Mahomes to no touchdowns in a Super Bowl, and then some rookie quarterback will just torch him.
Yeah.
That's bizarre. I don't. Maybe he comes up. Sometimes maybe you try to do too much pressure on a rookie quarterback, and you can make it easy for them, in terms of reading. But if they're ready for the blitz and they're prepared for it, sometimes those are easy reads. It's just quick, hot reads and get the ball out of your hand. It's not a whole lot of thinking. Maybe you just make them read the field. Who knows? We'll get into that when we get to it. But he's absolutely right. That has been a weird thing for Todd Bowles, who should own. His scheme should own rookie quarterbacks for sure. Nathan Elliott says, Devin horse kicking himself white, totally regretted not playing up to potential because he could have gotten paid like Winfield. That's right. That's, what his linebacker coach Larry Foote said, champagne problems, baby. Getting paid $11.7 million last year, and you can't, you're focused on what you're getting paid the next year, and you lose what's in front of you. Jeremy Lowe says, by the time we get to the middle of the season, I think we may surprise some of these powerhouse teams. Look, I mean, just in general, we've talked about this, Peter. I love where the Bucs are. I absolutely love what they've done this offseason. In years past, you could say there were missed opportunities in the offseason, things they didn't shore up. I never liked the fact that when Ryan Jensen went down, they didn't go out and get an experienced center to replace him. I think that was a huge, huge mistake on so many levels. But one of the few mistakes that Jason Light has made. Of course, they didn't have a lot of resources to do so, but I think you got to make it an effort to do so, especially in Brady's last year. But that's long time water under the bridge. They've done a hell of a job in this offseason, and I just can't think of anything. And you don't know from the draft who's going to be great. But it really feels like they put the pieces of the puzzle the right way. Now we'll see where it falls and how good these players are. But I think they did everything they could to get good players that have been very productive in colleges at great programs to plug and play in certain situations. So we'll see if they stay healthy. They just, to me, have got the most complete roster in the NFC South, and I think they should win it. So screw the Falcons.
Well, and screw ESPN because they ranked them 19th in power rankings. So once again, no respect for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Vegas has them.
Keep it coming.
7.5 wins. So, and the Atlanta Falcons at 9.5. So how about that, Bucs fans? So there you go.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take our first break, and then we'll come back on the other side, and David Zimrod's going to join us. We're going to talk a little local hoops as USF gets a historically good recruit, homegrown kid. So that's going to be a great feather in the cap of Amir. So we'll talk some local hoops. And we're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Go with the firm that knows the local landscape here legally and will not make you a number like some of these big firms. You will be treated like the local treasure that you are at the Jeeves Law Group. Get a free case evaluation. If you think you got a case, call them and find out. The Jeeves Law Group. Amber, presented by Hydrate Heroes. TryHydrateHeroes.com. That's the website. TryHydrateHeroes.com. Get your free 3-pack. Back in 3. Stay with us. JP here for my friends at your local Synovus Bank, and I do mean friends, and I do mean local. One of the local managers in Tampa is John Acosta, big fan of the show, and I've known him for over 40 years. He's been in local banking since 1983. You talk about developing relationships. You don't stick around for that long unless you're doing things the right way and have a great reputation, and that's the focus company-wide at Synovus. Big enough to handle any complex international transaction, but small enough to answer the phone when you have an urgent question about your business or personal account. And for personal accounts, they have a very easy app that works great. You can do everything online. And for large or small businesses, you will get that personal touch and services to help build your business, taking your dreams and aspirations from the whiteboard to reality. We can make that happen. Let us show you how. For a get acquainted meeting to open a business or personal account, just call John or go to synovus.com to find out where your local branch is. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or try to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com. or call 813-485-6808.
With over 34 years of producing small and large events, Extravaganza Productions is truly a Tampa treasure when it comes to creating some of the very best events in Tampa and all across the United States. I've worked with them at the Florida Sports Hall of Fame inductions, the Warrior Games, which was an Olympic-sized event spread across all of Tampa Bay. They are the very best, from small meetings to exceptionally large corporate conferences to galas, fundraisers, sporting events, grand openings, whatever you want. Team EPI has an extremely talented staff of designers and show producers that develop extraordinary events fueled by the visions of their clients. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on this hump day. We're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. If you have any testosterone issues, go get your testosterone checked, by the way. Get your blood work done, and then head on over to Bay Area Modern Medical Center like Pete did, and so many of my friends who now have Chris Lugo as their primary care physician. They'll take a lot of time to make sure you have a personalized plan for your testosterone, hormone issues, whatever you got there, your workouts, your nutrition. One-stop shop at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, where they prevent illness, don't just treat it. So stay healthy at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. All right, let's welcome in our good friend, the coach, David Zimroth, former assistant at Georgia, FSU, and USF. What's up, Z? How are you, my friend?
Doing real well, JP. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm actually enjoying these NBA playoffs for the first time in a long time. some scrappy play. Are you watching? I know the NBA can sometimes be a tough watch. Are you watching some of these playoffs?
I'm more interested right now than I've been in quite some time.
Yeah.
I'm like you. You look
Same.
at the fact that none of the quote unquote superstars that started the playoffs, they're no longer in.
Yep.
So now we find ourselves, well, obviously Jokic, but we find ourselves rooting for, the Brunsons of the world.
Yes.
The Anthony Edwards of the world. It's been fun to watch these guys emerge, and now they're the next line of superstars. I
can't believe I'm rooting for the Knicks. I love watching the Knicks. I mean, they're scrappy. They play hard. They're just guys that you root for. Brunson has just been fantastic. DiVincenzo, who's the dorky white guy in the middle that got 12 offensive rebounds like that? Hartenstein. Oh my God, that guy. They're just a group you want to root for. Fun to watch. They crushed them last night.
And watching them on TV play in the Garden is magical. And anybody that's ever been a Knicks fan, it takes us all back to a time where, basketball revolved around New York City, Madison Square Garden. I'll tell you this, I'm like you. I had a hard time rooting for my hometown team for a long time after the Jeremy Lin fiasco. I mean, I just said, that's it. They can't figure out a way to make sure this guy stays put and not appreciate what he did. But now you got, they're starting 4 guys right now that didn't start at the beginning of the season. And, they're all rallying around Jalen Brunson. What he's doing is just incredible. And that Garden is alive. The electricity in there is amazing. All these former players are sitting Gucci Row. It's special. I'll tell you this. If Boston winds up playing the Knicks for the Eastern Conference Championship, which I'm sure the networks want to see,
oh God,
it's going to be must-watch TV.
Speaking of network, TNT, they lose the NBA now to NBC. What do you think the impact of that is besides the obvious? You lose the possibility of Shaq and Charles Barkley. I mean, you got to think NBC is going to hire those guys and you put that show back together again. But what kind of loss is that for TNT? What's the impact for basketball fans when it comes to basketball returning to NBC?
Well, it's a big loss for TNT. They've had it for whatever. Yeah. I didn't know. Is it definitely finalized that's what's happened?
I'm looking at it.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, that's it's.
Well, let's just say it's finalized. Okay, it's a big loss for TNT. They've had the games for 25 years. Number one,
feels like it. Yeah.
Number 2 is Shaq and Barkley. Those guys are all going to be in renegotiation period.
Exactly.
Where they might wind up holding NBC's feet to the fire. I'm sure they're all going to be free agents if this happens. And, those guys might make out like bandits. So for those guys, I don't think it's I think it's a win-win. Guys like Ernie Johnson, I take the whole team over there. Now, whether, Ernie would ever leave TNT, who knows? But that's what he's been doing for his whole career. And his ascension in the business is one of the great stories, in the media, in sports media anyway.
Nothing official yet, but it is looking like they can't match, what NBC's put out there. So it's looking more and more like they're going to lose it. And that's been the rumor around, broadcasting right now. So nothing.
They'll all just flip wherever it is. They'll all just flip over. You have to be stupid not to put that band back together if you're NBC, right? But to me, I think the point you made, Z, is more important. It's, there's a new breed of players that I think people are just, we're ready for that. We're kind of done with the Durants and the drama. Even LeBron now, it's like, oh, I'm going to sit courtside at Cleveland, make sure everybody sees me, and Bronny's, so now what is Cleveland going to draft Bronny and put us together? He comes home to Cleveland. That seems like a storyline he wants to create, but I don't know. I'm ready for the Brunsons. I'm ready for the Anthony Edwards, the Jokic's. SGA, all these young kids. I'm ready for it, and it's much more entertaining.
It's a special time for the emergence of all these guys, and I think for the NBA, all the people we just mentioned, they don't bring the drama, they don't bring all the stuff. You know, we're in a social media world, but you don't see these guys, you know, doing stuff off the court and things of that nature. You know, what I love Brunson's attitude. They won the game last night. You know, most people are going crazy. Hey, he's ready for game 6. You know, it's really nice to see. Now, look, he grew up in a house where his dad was one of the best college basketball players in the country. He was a good pro. You know, players, female or male, that grow up in homes like that, where a parent was a great player, professional or collegiate, they're just different. You know, they understand that they've been around it since they're little kids. I think if Ronnie James becomes an NBA player, you're going to see the same thing. You know, they have a way about them that a lot of us can't really relate to because we didn't grow up in houses like that. I grew up in a house of a coach, so I can relate to that. But I can tell you this, my dad wasn't a player.
Yeah.
The guy was 5'7", you know, Sam Zimmer wasn't a player, but he was a coach. So, you know, you learn to do certain things growing up that a lot of other kids can't do, you know?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of player, because Bronny averaged, like 5 points a game at USC. Most people think he's not, you know, quote, draftable. But I think any owner would be stupid if he knew LeBron came along with the package deal, especially in Cleveland. But who cares about that? I'm watching these playoffs. We'll worry about that another time. Great segue, by the way, Z. I knew you were setting this up. Josh Lewis from Blake High School, 4-star recruit. I guess On3 has him as number 38 in the country. His dad, Fred Lewis, played at USF, coached him at Blake, and now has decided to go at USF. This is, I think, going back to the time you got some great players like Altron Jackson and everything. This is one of the highest rated players to ever come to USF, if not the highest rated. What does this mean for Amir Abdur-Rahim and this USF program?
I think it's a testament to what he's built in a very short period of time. I think it's obvious he's done a really good job locally, which a lot of coaches that have been in here have not done.
Yep.
I think the storyline is dynamite. You know, I remember Fred Lewis when he played at Chamberlain High School for the legendary Doug Applin, who was a great player at USF as well. You know, Fred went to University of Tampa. He was like freshman of the year in the league, transferred to USF, had a really good career there. He's done a very good job coaching. And his son, you know, look, again, I always used to say this. How bad could a kid be that plays the sport a parent played that was really good? I mean, you know, you go back. I remember we were recruiting George Gervin's son, G. Gervin.
Yeah.
And I used to sit in the office and I go, what do we have to lose? How bad can the guy be? Gervin? I mean, how bad can the kid be? Okay. So I'm a big believer in that. We signed Scott Shepard at Florida State. His father, Billy Shepard's one of the greatest players in the history of Indiana basketball. You know, they're just different. And I'm sure, you know, Josh Lewis is going to have a nice senior year. He's going to be a good player at USF. And I think when you sign a high school kid now, you have to be sure he's going to be able to play with all the NIL stuff and kids transferring through the portal. You got to make sure the kid can handle playing with older guys that have been in college for 3 or 4 years. And, you know, it appears that Amir feels that this kid's got what it takes to be able to survive in that environment now, because that's what a high school kid's going to have to do.
Yeah, yeah. And, of course, they've lost a lot of players. You know, they lost their top 3 players in the portal, which sucks. But, you know, this local and they almost got Carter Knox too. So, and that means something too, right? Even though you didn't get them, it says you're doing the right things, right?
Well, you always want to be, you know, when you're a coach and you're recruiting, you always want to be mentioned as one of the final schools, you know, but It's like anything, you know, you're close, but you didn't get them and nobody cares after the fact. But while you're involved with the recruitment and you are consistently being mentioned as one of the schools, it helps you with other kids.
Yep.
So you never want to be, we're not getting this kid, why be involved? I'm a big believer in this, okay? If you're a low Division I school, let's just take Florida Gulf Coast. Let's just use them as an example. Atlantic Sun.
Mhm.
If you know there's a really good player in Tampa and he's in 10th grade, offer him a scholarship.
Right.
Be the first one to offer him a scholarship. Just be the first one. Whether you think you're going to get him or not, it puts you in a position where your name's going to be mentioned.
Right.
And now all of a sudden go, hey, what's going on down there in Fort Myers? Those guys are involved with, Kobe
Right.
Knox or Carter Knox or, Isaiah Campbell Finch. They just finally offered that kid a scholarship. I saw that on Twitter. The kid at Tampa Catholic is really good. I'm not taking anything away. He's the best player I've seen in Tampa. And I've seen them all. He's the best player and most accomplished player right now, whether he is at the end of his senior year or not. But if you're an Atlantic Sun team, you got to offer that kid a scholarship at the beginning of last year, not now.
Right. And Josh Lewis, have you seen him play at Blake? 6'7", 175, average 17-10.
I'll tell you what I like about him. He is rapidly improving in the skills you have to be successful in at the highest level of college basketball. His shooting has become much better. His ball handling, his demeanor on the court. He's going to be just like his dad. He's going to be better 2 years from you. Like 2 years from now, you're going to say, "Oh my God, I didn't realize the kid was that good."
Yeah.
Same thing happened to his dad. It's like all of a sudden the guy, he goes and has a great year or two at University of Tampa, and everyone's going, "Who that? Wow!" And then he goes to South Florida, has a couple of good years there too. So I think that's what's going to happen. Plus, he's bigger than his dad. I mean, he's 6'7". His dad was.
Wow. Well, congrats to USF that's a big get. And when you get a guy like that, when you get the 38th best player, other guy, like you said, even when you're involved, the other players are like, "Oh, wait a minute. Wow, he's going to USF. What's going on over there?" So yeah.
Well, let me play a little devil's advocate here too. In this day and age, Josh Lewis is committed. Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to raise some eyebrows. Hey man, did we not evaluate this kid the right way? Are we sure that this kid, wasn't good enough for us? So all of a sudden now, that's got some people looking and saying, "Wait, I'm going to evaluate this kid till the day he signs his letter of intent." And you know what? If we think he's better than we thought he was originally, we might make a call.
Yeah.
We're not going to honor a verbal commitment. Any college right now that honors a verbal commitment is out of their minds. Is out of their minds. Why would you do that? Football has been doing it for 75 years. Basketball coaches always honored it. If I was coaching right now, there's no way I honor a verbal commitment.
No.
What do you get at USF? We'll do better. I mean, it's open season. It opens up a whole new can of worms now. So now the biggest situation for USF is, can we make sure we sign the kid?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And when does that happen? When does the actual
first week, whatever it is, the first Tuesday in November? I mean, that's
got a long way to go.
And I'm not trying to say, "Hey, David Zimmer, why would you say that?" It's the reality of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're at the University of Florida, let's just use Florida, for example. Did we not evaluate that kid correctly? Hey, let's make sure we keep tabs on him this summer. They see him playing some big AAU tournament, and the kid goes crazy. Hey, call so-and-so. Now, the problem is, his so-and-so is his dad.
Yeah, exactly. Who played at USF.
So is his dad going to say, "Hey, look, my son's committed. We honor our commitments in the Lewis family"? I get it. But if one school's giving you 25 and another school says, "We got 100 for you," you understand how this works now?
Yeah, I do. Especially these days. It's called free agency. Yeah.
So, that we used to use this line when I was at Florida State. Don't tell me how successful recruitment it was until that kid is on the court, first game of the year, jump ball goes up, and he's in a uniform or on the court. Then that's when your recruitment is successful.
It doesn't end till then. Wow.
It's great stuff. Great stuff. I want to shift gears here, Coach Z, to the Magic. Who would you get out of this list if you have an opportunity to trade or sign a free agent? Klay Thompson could be out there. Paul George could be out there. And an interesting name because he just commented on Ben Caro's Twitter about how great of a player he is, and because Atlanta is trying to cut luxury tax. How about a Trey Young or a Murray in that backfield? Who would you like to have out of that collection?
You know, I don't keep up with all that as much as someone else. I wouldn't do anything differently if I didn't have to with Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're one who, like we just talked, they're a young team when they got emerging stars, obviously. But I don't go Klay Thompson. I don't go Paul George. If I can get Trey Young, I'll deal with Trey Young. I'm not getting a guy that's at the end. I'm just not doing it. And listen, there's nobody in this city that loves Klay Thompson more than David Simroth. I love the guy. I've known his dad. I mean, I played against him. I mean, I love the guy. And he's been labeled in a negative way here at the end of his career. And nobody talks about what he's overcome, where he missed 2 full seasons of basketball, the 2 worst injuries you could have as an athlete. Yep. So, you know, I got a soft spot in my heart for him. And he comes to Florida, God bless him. But I'm staying young. I'm staying healthy. I'm staying athletic. And Trey Young's one of those guys. He's the next generation of superstars. That's what I would do if I could do it.
Yeah, that would, because they need a secondary scorer. Franz Wagner, you know, good player, really good young player, but in the moment, he kind of shrank in the moment in that game 7. They need somebody who can get his own shot and make it. And that certainly is Trey Young. Going back to high school a little bit. Yeah.
Sure.
NIL. And today they're, I think up in Tallahassee, they're debating this. Or maybe it's the Florida High School Coach Association. NIL in Florida, other states have it for high school players. So now, you know, Florida becomes at a disadvantage. You know, you got guys actually leaving this state as high school players to go and get money. And I believe it happened in Tampa, as a matter of fact, a couple of times. So to me, it's a no-brainer. You might hate it. You might hate the fact that high school kids are going to get NIL money, but it's the way the world is going. I think it's fair. You know, if you can make money off your name, image, and likeness, you should be able to do so. Where do you come down on this, Zig?
Well, again, not being educated on the subject as much as someone else. And Carter Knox left Tampa Catholic to go play in Atlanta for overtime elite. You know, so let's say they allow it in Florida for high school kids. Okay. Who's orchestrating the payments? Where's the money coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Overtime Elite works with different entities to make sure all those kids are getting paid. Okay, so who is somebody working with in this state? I mean, public high schools, you're not gonna, no kids staying at a public high school. They don't have the wherewithal to get money. Right. A private high school, I mean, where are they getting money? You know, it's costing 30, 40 grand a year to go to a private high school, the real good one. So, you know, are the Montverts, the IMGs, you know, those people, that was the way it would more than likely go, that they're the ones that are going to be able to manufacture the money.
They already have the corporate sponsors. They already have them.
Yeah. So, but, you know, it's funny. Montverde keeps getting the best players in the country, and they ain't giving out any money.
Are they?
You know,
I went up to I was driving through up there the other day. It's not far from where I'm living now, and I'd never been on that campus. See, I'm like, holy hell! It's like an old resort that they've made into this incredible campus for sports. It's unbelievable.
And the whole area has grown. It's like a place to go live and retire, whatever. But 30 years ago or more, you should have seen that place. Heck, I know one of my oldest friends, Greg Fenlon, was one of the first coaches that ever coached at Montverde basketball.
Yeah.
So, you know, look, I said it. I never forget it. We were sitting in some bar somewhere, Pat Kennedy and I said, guys, this thing's going to change. Landscape in Florida is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Better make sure we're on top of it. It's going to go prep school. And there's no way this is going to happen in Florida. What happened? All the best players now go to prep schools in Florida or private schools in Florida most of the time.
On scholarship. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Look, you know, they can say what they want. And it's been happening for a long time. And hey, look, I dealt with it. I didn't care. You know, at the end of the day, everything that was illegal 20 years ago is legal now.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Lost their careers and their reputations on stupid little things that now are nobody even cares. You buy a kid a plane ticket, you lose your job and never get back in business over a $300 plane ticket? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, guys went to jail. They had assistant coaches that went to jail, but the FBI's out there investigating assistant basketball coaches. There's a crime going on here. Oh my God! You paid the electric bill for that family. You're going to jail. Whatever. All right, so let's transition. Oh, by the way, speaking of people that you've worked with, Sam Cassell mentioned as a possible new Lakers coach. I think now Sam Cassell seems like one of the few people I've known in my life that could stare LeBron James in the eye and say, "This is what's up," just because he don't care. What are your thoughts on that possibly happening?
Everyone's talking about JJ Redick getting the job. Mm-hmm. So let's just say that is something that is realistic. If you're going to hire someone that hasn't been a head coach after already firing a guy that was never a head coach in Darvin Ham, okay, I don't see why you'd go down the same road. But if you're going to go down that same road, why wouldn't you give a guy who's a 15-year assistant, and wherever he's been, that franchise has won? He's an unbelievable, I call it the 3P. He's an unbelievable people person. He's an unbelievable player guy, meaning the players adore him.
Love him.
Because he was a really good player, and they can relate to him. And he knows what he's talking about. Lastly, which he's always been, he's an unreal program person. Whether it was Baltimore Dunbar, Maine Central Institute, San Jacinto Junior College, Florida State University, Houston Rock, everywhere he's been, he's adored.
Yeah.
So what
wins
more are you looking for?
Yeah.
You're talking about a guy that he's flawless, other than he hasn't been given a chance to run his own program.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, when you have the best players, you're a really good coach.
Yeah.
If you don't have the best players, it doesn't matter what you know. You're not winning.
Right. Not in the NBA. Hell no.
No. So
give him a roster like that and see what he can do. I can't believe he hadn't been a head coach yet. I mean, he's done his. How long has he been an assistant? 10 years? 15 years?
Listen to this. For the last 30 years, he's been in the NBA. He's borderline Hall of Fame. Chauncey Billups is going in the Naismith Hall of Fame.
Right.
Okay. The first thing I said to myself was, "Hey, Chauncey, he was dynamite player. Dynamite." Sam Cassell statistically was as good or better than Chauncey Billups and won 3 NBA championships as a player.
There you go. No.
Okay. And he's never discussed as a Hall of Fame player because it comes down to all-star appearances. So Sam played in 1 all-star game. And people don't remember, Sam Cassell for the first 5 years of his career, maybe even longer, was a sub. He was a guy coming off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? When he became a starter, his statistics were ridiculous. So he's done it as a player. He's done it as an assistant coach. He's worked for different people. He's been with different franchises. If it's not the Lakers, it's got to be something else, somewhere else. And then who knows? Might wind up one day being the coach of Florida State Seminoles.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a bad thing. Wouldn't be a bad move at this point. Wow.
If there's someone to succeed Leonard Hamilton, you could not have a better pick than that. No, absolutely. And USF fans would be glad to hear that name and not Amir's for sure. Hey, before you go, I got to get you on Caitlin Clark. 20 points last night, 10 turnovers. Her team got stomped. Huge TV audience, but I've said this. I'm not sure that popularity is going to translate from Iowa over to the WNBA. We'll see. Obviously, she's not going to be as dominant a player, at least not now, not for the first few years. There's too many damn good players in that league. She didn't get a lot of space last night. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to be biased on it because I'm a huge Caitlin Clark fan. If you get calls on this or tweets on it, I really don't care. Anybody who has a negative thing to say about her impact on that league is either unbelievably jealous or not very bright.
Yeah.
Because what she's doing is she's making money for everyone in the league, from ownerships to sponsorships to player contracts. Okay? She can do nothing but help everyone, number one. Number two, yes, she's also going to have people coming after her defensively like never before. All right. Did she have a good game last night? By her standards, she didn't have a good game. By my standards, she didn't have a good game. But you can see her impact in that game when she started making some threes. Her passing was not good last night. Her floor game was not good. Everyone knows that. But they sold more tickets for that game last night in Connecticut than they sold the entire year at Connecticut last year.
It was 1,500, 2,000 for a seat down low.
I mean, so I don't understand. Look, I'm old enough to remember Pete Maravich went through the same thing when he got to the Atlanta Hawks. Jealousy, you know, people not happy with all the fame and fortune. And all he did was want to share it. That's all she wants to do is share it.
I understand. And that's what I'm not taking anything away from her. I think she's amazing. My point is kind of what your point is. I don't think the league, the players in the league especially, I think they're incredibly jealous, and they're going to make it hard on her, and they're going to make, and not that they should, welcome her and let her walk to the basket. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, in spite of themselves, I don't know if it's going to translate, because I think other fans see that already, that, it's the other players that are very jealous, talking crap. It started, from day one, she announced the WNBA. And that, I think, will be the reason it doesn't translate as much, but we'll see. She's amazing. I love everything about what she does.
Let me tell you this in ending, how great a player and person she is, okay? And her maturity level. Most players would have folded last night in their debut. Most of them would have folded with the way it was going with the turnovers. Okay? Yep. She kept battling. And she battled and battled and battled. They came within 5 or 7 points on 2 or 3 occasions in the second half. That other team was better, number one. They were older, number two. And that's going to happen in that league when she plays against teams like that. Hey, look, the number one pick from the year before, Aaliyah Boston, she didn't do anything in that game last night.
I know.
Okay, now, was it because there were so many turnovers? Probably. There were 23 turnovers. 23 times the girl couldn't get the ball. I get it. But it wasn't like she went out and dominated either.
Exactly.
So they have growing pains. They got to get some things done. But don't ever anybody disregard what this player is doing for that league. All of a sudden, everybody's chartering flights. I find that
so true. They've been battling that for how many years? Caitlin Clark gets in the league, and hey, we got chartered flights now for the ladies. Yeah.
She was on chartered flights as a college player.
I know.
And goes to a professional league, and they were on commercial flights. I mean, these women, some of them have had to take a step back in how they're treated by going to the WNBA.
Oh, of course they have. Yeah, they're making less money.
Let's all embrace what this girl is capable of doing for everyone. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to disagree with you. I don't think it's going to take a couple, 3 years. I think this gal's going to have one heck of a season this year. That's my opinion.
Wow.
I'm taking the under on the total points.
Who's better this year, her or Angel Reese? Because she got a lot of flack for going to the Met Gala, and then her team proceeded to win by over 40 points. So all that nonsense that was said about her going to that. How did you feel about that? Do you think it's unfair to criticize an athlete that does something outside of her profession? Is that fair to say?
Well, why is it? I'll answer it like this: it's okay. Male basketball players have done this for
ever
dozens of years.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Dennis Rodman was going away night before games. At the end of the day, it's like an actor or an actress.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
The curtain opens, the lights go on. Are you going to put on a good performance or you're not?
Exactly.
Now, but Angel Reese is a different player than her. Angel Reese is not as good a player as Caitlin Clark. No way, shape, or form. They play different positions. They have totally different games, totally different skill sets. But did you notice on Twitter today, they had all the different women basketball players showing up for their season opener and how they were dressed? Did you see? I mean, it's a whole new thing now.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and it's great. No,
it's unbelievable what they're doing to themselves. The girl Plum, Kelsey Plum, what she's done to herself and how she looks. I mean, they're all understanding sponsorships, media following, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. They all get it now. So why is it not okay for them, but it's okay for the guys? Hey, look, I've raised 2 girls that were athletes. I'm all about it.
Their time has come, and I think some of these other leagues better take note of what's going on. All right, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you if they want the best training for their youngsters.
dzimroth@brighthouse.com, just the way it sounds. Can't get any simpler than that.
All right, partner. Always fun to talk to you, my friend. Let's do it again next week. There's NBA playoffs. Let's go.
You got it.
All right,
My
thanks.
pleasure.
Thanks,
and
Coach
follow
Steve.
at DZ Sports on Twitter as well. All right, that was fun.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Hoops is like it's resurging. It's resurging. There's no question about it. I think people, are glad to see these new stars in the WNBA and women's college basketball. It's fun. Basketball is fun again.
Amazing,
Peter.
right? You're right.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, when you put away all the bull crap, you want to watch some good ball and not all the drama, of where LeBron's going, where's Kevin Durant. I could not give a rat's ass about Kevin Durant and where he plays next.
You know where he's going to go? He's going to try to go to the best team he can go to at this point.
And he'll wreck that team too.
Would you be open, as crazy as this sounds? I don't know if it's possible or not. Just throwing it out there, hypothetical, because the Magic are a young team and they're local.
Yeah.
Would you be open to him going to the Magic, or do you think he would lose the chemistry? Because it's a veteran presence. You need somebody who can create.
They need a number 2 scorer. Banchero needs help.
Right.
Franz Wagner's not, he's a good young player. He's not a number 2.
If you're the Magic, do you give up?
I like what Z says, man. I wouldn't give up squat. Give me a free agent. Trae Young. You don't want to mess up some of those. Who you give? You don't want to give up Jonathan Isaac. You don't want to give up Banchero. You don't want to give up any of these guys, really.
Correct.
They got a great nucleus, great core. You want to keep that together. You just want to add something, add a scorer. So, and I think, Trae Young would be, God, I think that would be great. Cole Anthony's and Suggs are good guards, but they're not transcendent like Trae Young.
Right.
And Trae needs, he needs a little bit more structure around him too, I believe, become a better all-around player. It doesn't have to be the whole show. And with Banchero, he wouldn't have to be the whole show.
Right.
So it's a totally different dynamic. Can he thrive in that? Yeah.
Right.
Maybe.
He can create his own shot. He can shoot from the perimeter.
Yeah. That's a game changer. If they could somehow land him without giving up a lot. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think I would give up a lot. I would give up a lot for Young. I would, because like what Coach Z said, he's a young guy. He's a young superstar. Mm-hmm. And if Atlanta is truly trying to get under the luxury tax, it's either Murray, who's the other guy that's being talked about, or Trae Young. And you just know these kids, right? When they connect in Twitter, and we've seen it with LeBron being recruited by Wade and by Bosch. It just takes that one social media deal where they want to play together. And Orlando's been known to, go out into free agency. Is this the year that you do that? I don't know if you go for Schwartz. I don't know if you go for Klay Thompson, but this could be the year. And you look at the first round. What are they missing? Well, Wagner's pretty good. Banchero is a future superstar, but then what else do you have? You need another guy. Mm-hmm. And if Trae Young is going to be that guy, then you trade an Anthony Black, who you got. You trade possibly. Are you willing to trade a Suggs for him?
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. We're going to talk some golf now with John Gerber, PGA Pro. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. The PGA Championship is about to get underway. Tiger is there. John Rahm is there. All the big names are there. Scotty Scheffler is back from his paternity leave. So we got lots to talk about with Johnny Gerber. Make some picks as well. Stay with us. Quick break. So talk some golf when we come back.
This is The Strike. 102.5 WHPT, HD2 Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. It's Diamond Days at the Gold and Diamond Source because April's birthstone is diamonds. As they take center stage, get up to 20% off all diamond jewelry. And our first-time buyers program will help you get educated about the 4 C's and all the different shapes and styles. And remember, you only want natural diamonds, folks. It takes billions of years to form a natural diamond. You don't want something that was made in a factory just a couple of weeks ago. And remember, your Gold and Diamond Source diamond never loses its value. You can always trade up at the Gold and Diamond Source for a bigger, better one. And they will spend the time to educate you about your diamonds and how to take care of them. And of course, consider the Gold and Diamond Source to maintain and insure your jewelry. They can professionally clean it, check the settings, and make any necessary repairs to keep your jewelry in top condition. It's the 40th anniversary of the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Overton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on this hump day, and it's a major championship week. So we got to get our good our man in to get some picks for some good picks. John Gerber, PGA Pro, joining us here as a man who probably played Valhalla, if I'm not mistaken. All right,
indeed,
up,
indeed,
partner?
I have. Good, hey, good morning, guys. Indeed, I have. I don't want to say I actually played it. It beat me up. How about that? There's a difference between playing it and, you know, letting it beat you up. And it certainly is one of those places. It's a big ballpark, man. And it's a tough one. And I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys play. It's changed a lot since the last 2014 that they had in the PGA Championship there. So listen, man, they've lengthened it to about 300 or 400 yards. It was long as is, and it has some elevation. And, you know, with the weather playing a little bit soft, they did some other changes, and maybe we'll talk about when we get into our picks. That's going to make a little bit difference potentially for some of these guys.
Well, damn, like, why is it so hard? That's not just length. It looks like it's beautiful.
Yeah.
If I died and went to heaven, I would, you know, Valhalla is the Vikings' heaven. I believe that's what it's called, right? So I am a Viking. I'm a Swede. So that would be my heaven, Valhalla. But it would beat the crap out of me, is what you're saying. Yeah,
no doubt. I mean, you'll have to wear that hat, those Viking hats, so all the welts that you get on your head, buddy, because it's it'll put you down. No, it's hard for a lot of reasons. The setup this week is going to be, you know, the rough is going to be, probably 3 or 4 inches with the bluegrass, and something really interesting. They changed grasses in the fairway from bent to zoysia. And for the people who don't know what zoysia is, it's kind of a little bit of a hybrid grass that grows in kind of the middle of the United States through that area. That it's a very it's a retardant grass in terms of the heat, so it can penetrate the heat. But the thing with the zoysia is the ball sits up. For somebody, that's a that doesn't like to take divots, it sits up kind of a little bit higher than that bent grass that you would take, or that Bermuda grass. So it's definitely a grass that these guys that like, and you can launch the ball a little bit higher because it sets up a little bit. And it's a big difference on some of these guys that are used to that, playing in that zoysia grass in that Georgia, Nashville, Tennessee area, Louisville area. So it's a big change that they did in the fairways.
Interesting. A hybrid grass, kind of like the Caddyshack hybrid that they had. That's, what is it, 70% Sensimilia? Yeah. It's kind of a Carl Spackler's hybrid. Not that kind of hybrid.
Not that kind. Those are things that grass you'll find over in those horse farms over there, probably a little bit easier there. And in Louisville, you get a little bit better over there.
They're well fertilized. Yeah,
indeed they are. Indeed they
are. So I was looking up some stuff this morning. John Rahm had some interesting comments at the PGA, talking about, I never really left the tour. I'm suspended. I'm just playing over here on the Live Tour. And we still have, of course, we have to have a conversation when we get together for the majors, when the other guys come in. So it was just kind of weird that he doesn't see himself as defecting. What did you make of those comments?
Well, I certainly thought it was certainly ignorant of John Rahm to say anything like that. And if he still feels that he has friends on the PGA Tour, which he does, but that's not a way to say that to keep your friends. I promise you that, because these guys that revere him as leaving as one of the superstars on the PGA Tour, they don't feel like he's still a member of the PGA Tour. I promise you that. So he's the only one potentially that feels that way. But yeah, I don't know. That was just weird comments. I mean, for him to say he still supports the PGA Tour, I'm sure that the hierarchies that's running the Live in the PIF, they don't want to hear that. I promise you that. So, giving him $500 million and for him to make those types of comments, it just goes to show how kind of naive or maybe ignorant John Rahm is into the day-to-day operations of what's going on between them and the PGA Tour.
You think there's still a lot of bad feelings with the other players towards him leaving?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, he moves the needle. I mean, he's one of the guys on the PGA Tour that, when a guy like him leaves, it takes some money away from their pocket in terms of revenue with the fans. I mean, you make great points all the time when you talk about Live in the PGA Tour. I mean, the sponsors don't want to sponsor some of these events when you don't have your big guns there. They just don't.
Right. It's not worth it.
No, and that's why the PGA Tour is continually to lose some of these sponsors, and it's struggling. Maybe John Rahm is wishful thinking that this thing is going to be done faster than the merger, because I certainly believe that the merger is, and in some sort of circumstance, is going to happen. But maybe he wants to play both sides of the fence, and I don't think the guys on the PGA Tour.
It's hard.
If you listen to Aaron Oberholzer's comments the other day on Golf Central, I mean, I thought they were going to get in a fight. Seriously, that's how upset some of these guys potentially are. And Oberholzer certainly is not one of the biggest names when he played on the PGA Tour, but he's a 3-time winner and he's still a PGA Tour member. He doesn't want to hear that from John Rahm.
Yeah, he had this to say. I'm incensed by that, quite honestly, by level of being naive that you don't get it. You still don't get it. You took 500 large. And then you're going to sit there and tell me, oh, you still feel like you're a PGA Tour member. I want to support the PGA Tour. I mean, I want to wring his neck through the television. I'm that mad right now. I'm that mad. Every player in the locker room right now, if they watch that on the PGA Tour, should be absolutely incensed with him. So tell us how you really feel, Aaron. I want to talk about Tiger Woods. Does history repeat itself? I know it's crazy. He's not one of the favorites, but in 2000, he had a playoff victory over Bob May. Can he be in this tournament? Can he be a factor, or is the walk too long for him?
It's not nearly as difficult of a walk as Augusta is. I mean, it does have some undulation, but not nearly as much. It kind of sets up a little bit like Memorial, and in a lot of ways, this golf course. And we'll talk about that when we get in our picks. But yeah, it's taxing on him. He's had some rest, for I think a good week for Tiger Woods. I certainly think he has the ability to make the cut. It's not going to be, it's a little soupy out there, so that's going to hurt him. But the lies at this place is not nearly like Augusta. So if you look at Augusta, there's a lot of lies that are left to right, right to left. So your ball's above your feet, below your feet. This is more of a north-south. So, there's a lot of uphills and then there's a lot of downhills. So that type of walk for him, and when he's hitting golf shots, not going to be nearly as taxing on his body. It might sound simple, but for Tiger, that's a big deal. Some of those uneven lies, his feet ball above or below his feet as opposed to higher or lower. So I think he's got an opportunity to make the cut. I don't think he can contend. I just don't think he's got enough. I don't think he's got enough reps in his belt.
Reps, yeah.
He'll tell you that, hey, listen, I can play 2 really good rounds of golf, and if the tournament was 36 holes, I could probably have a chance to win. But 72 holes is a little bit different animal when you're dealing with these types of injuries.
All right, so we got to talk about the king of the hill, and that's Scotty Scheffler, who was on a run, very Tiger-esque from 2000, not to that level yet, but certainly the best player out there. But he just had his first kid. I think it's his first. Is this first?
First.
So that changed his life a lot of different ways, but I don't think so much for Scheffler because, and I think this is, we talked about this the other day. His faith is something that is a weapon for him because while these other guys worship major championships, he worships a higher God, and it's not that big a deal to him. It's just playing golf. And I think and Rory's a perfect example. Rory hadn't won a major in 10 years, and it's not because he ain't playing well. And it's not because he's not one of the better players out there. It's up here. He just can't get over the finish line. He's there coming down the stretch every single major last year, but he can't get over the hump. And for Scotty, it's like nothing. And now you throw in Rory announcing his divorce this week, which is interestingly enough.
Right.
I just still think he's the man to beat because even if he's been off for a few weeks, his headspace is just better than anybody else's right now.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. He's certainly an anomaly when it comes to those guys on the PGA Tour. I mean, even before he had his kid, if you talk 2 or 3 months ago, he ranks his life in golf as certainly 3rd or 4th. It's not number 1 or 2. And that's just how he was raised. I mean, having some interaction with him down there in Dallas with Randy Smith, that I know extremely well, his coach since he was a kid, it's kind of ingrained. Randy's a little bit like that also. So it's kind of instilled in him that, this is still a game and there's other things that are important. And I just think there's a little bit difference, but there is no substitute. A little bit, him having a couple of weeks off and a little lack of sleep. I don't know if that's going to affect him, but he's not. Him and his wife are certainly not tackling this thing alone. I'm sure they have nannies and family that's game. So I'm pretty sure he knows his son's name already, but he certainly hasn't changed a lot of diapers. I don't think. To get him prep for this week. But the irony when you mention Rory McIlroy, is it funny that he wins after he gets filed for divorce, right? Is that something that I don't think that's coincidence. So when it comes to something,
just cut that check in half, baby. Just cut.
Well, they had a prenup, so that's going to help him a little bit. But you still have to pay her a little bit. But he filed for divorce. She didn't. So that's something a little bit there that maybe. That I don't want to speculate when it comes to Rory. The only person I have issues with when it comes to their marriage is Colin Morikawa. So I'm just jealous on that front more than anything else. So hopefully Rory's bouncing back, but he certainly looks in good form. And can he answer the question this week of can you win a golf tournament without Scotty Scheffler in it? Because he certainly hasn't. Winning last week with Scotty not playing. I mean, that question is going to, arise maybe a little bit. But we certainly know Xander Schauffele, if anyone has him on his card this week, betting for the first 2 rounds, because at the weekend, he certainly will fold like he always does.
Oh,
wow.
All right. Well, let's get to the picks then. What do you got for us this week?
Man, I really do like this card. And this card for me is there's a lot of great value here just because there's some recency bias in terms of players not playing well. But I saw a lot of value on this card when we dropped down a little bit on our card. My first pick on the board this week, I really like Bryson DeChambeau at 28-1. It's a rarity. We have live guys on the card, but if you look how he played at Augusta the first couple of rounds, man, he played absolutely fantastic. He's really suffered on the greens kind of, the last couple of rounds, but these greens aren't nearly as severe as Augusta. So with his power, this golf course is going to play about 7,600 yards. Going to play soft the first couple of days. Yeah, it's going to play tough, but it's a little bit bigger ballpark. The PGA normally sets this up. The fairways are a little bit wider than most majors, so it lends to some scoring. So certainly length isn't going to be a factor for Bryson DeChambeau. That's why I like him at 28-1. Here's who I really like, and I'm going to tell you a lot of reasons. Victor Hovland at 45-1 to me is the steal of this tournament. Recency bias has dropped him down from 45-1 just because he hasn't played well. Major championships usually your weaknesses usually come out, and his weakness is chipping. We've all known that. He's fixed it. But this type of grass is what he's used to playing on. Oklahoma State, this is Zoysia. This is where he's played in practice. Zoysia grass at Oklahoma State at Carson Creek. He's fixed that. This is how he plays in practice. This is the Nicholas golf course. Last summer, he won at Murfield. This golf course is very, very similar to Murfield Village. So you put those two things together at 45-1, finishing second last year at the PGA Championship. Also, I really like Victor Hovland at 45-1. Recency bias is going to get this again. I like Sam Burns, getting him at 66-1. Sam Burns, 66-1. He hasn't played well. Had some brief conversations a few weeks ago. A local caddy there, Travis Perkins, that lives in that area down there. He's caddy for him for a long time. Originally an Ohio guy. Likes the way Sam Burns is trending. Sam Burns' little issue is he puts a lot of pressure on himself when it comes to major championships, but he certainly has the game, the length, everything that you really need to do to win at this place for sure, and to win a major championship. To get him at 66-1, I love it at that value.
Yeah.
Our ham sandwich pick this week, long shot, 70-1. You give me Jordan Spieth at 70-1, being a little bit under the radar. I really like him. You haven't heard a lot of talk about him kind of this week. You know, this is the last major he has to win to try to win all four majors, but you haven't heard a lot of talk with that. Last few years going into the PGA, that's kind of all you heard of. Can he finish the career Grand Slam? But I think him a little under the radar. And if I listen to him talk in his press conference, he likes the way he's playing. I like the way he's speaking. So give me Jordan Spieth at 70-1 in our long shot ham sandwich. 2 top 10 picks this week. Jason Day plus 500 to finish in that top 10. Trending well, hits the ball high, used to this area. He lives in Columbus, Ohio, loves Nicholas golf courses. He plays in practice. He's played in practice for a long time at Murfield Village. So he's used to these types of, used to this type of golf course. And it's, like I said, it's real similar to Murfield when it comes to that. I like him at plus 500. Hideki Matsuyama at plus 500 to finish in that top 10. Also, he took last week off. I like the way how high he hits it. Length isn't going to be an issue. He's a big game hunter. He always seems to play well at the majors. I didn't pick him to win just because in this form, I didn't see him play last week. So I don't know really what kind of form he is, but his game fits it. Again, he hits it high, he hits it soft, and length isn't going to be an issue. 2 top 20 picks this week. I like Sahith Theegala at plus 250. Again, he cuts the golf ball. He hits it high. His short game is pretty good. He doesn't have to be great out here, but it's good enough for him, as good as he hits it with the wider fairways. He can get a little astray when it comes to driving the golf ball, but I really think his short game and his wedge game is improved enough to have him some success. Maybe not to win, but to finish in the top 20. And our last pick this week on the board, top 20 pick, Denny McCarthy at plus 345. Finished second last year at the PGA Championship to tied with Victor Hovland. He's not the longest guy on the PGA Tour, but he is the best putter in the world. So I don't ever think the guy's going to be out of the golf tournament. He's going to struggle a little bit, maybe with length. It just depends how long they set it up. But his equalizer is his putter, and I think he can always stay in it and in that top 20, especially with his confidence and success that he had last year at the PGA Championship, finishing second. I like him in that spot to finish in the top 20.
All righty, Johnny. And you'll put all those up. Are they already up on your Twitter?
They will be posted this afternoon. Tim will be posting this afternoon, and we'll give all the recaps tonight at 5 p.m. Central on From the Rough podcast on FanStream Sports. Yeah, check that out and promo your show there. All right, before you leave, since you brought up the hybrid, I'm gonna do the my best Carl Spackler imitation here, and I have the whole quote in front of me. So here we go. This is a hybrid. It's a cross of bluegrass, Kentucky bluegrass, a featherbed bench in Northern California, Santa Emilia. Amazing stuff about this is that you can play 36 holes on it in the afternoon, take it home, and just get stoned to the bejesus about the night on this stuff. So I got pounds of this stuff, pounds of it. What do you think? That's just fantastic. And the probably last quote is you may have pounds of that stuff somewhere. So if you don't, buddy, I tell you what, you can certainly find it there in Kentucky.
Yeah, you know they're we were just at Cineapolis last night, and they're replaying Caddyshack. They're doing a whole dinner thing, 3-course dinner and Caddyshack. I think it's going on tonight, so we might have to go check that out to see it on the big screen, like it's meant to be seen. Yeah, you see that Baby Ruth laying in the pool, life size, like it ought to be.
I love it.
All right,
I love it.
What's your favorite golf movie of all time?
Oh, that's certainly. There's probably one that's more of a serious movie. Dead Solid Perfect is pretty good. I mean, in terms of, if you haven't seen Dead Solid Perfect, it's kind of one of those indie films that I forget. You would recognize some of the names that was in it. It's really good. It's more of a.
I've not seen that, but I hear it's good. Yeah.
It's about a journeyman tour player. I forget who is the star, but it's really good. That's probably my favorite. I mean, if I leave out Caddyshack, I'll get all kinds of stuff on social media. So we certainly got to put those two things in there. But I could watch either of those. I won't watch
strong. Tin Cup
was strong. Tin Cup was strong. But Caddyshack 2 was as good as Caddyshack 1 was. Caddyshack 2 was.
We don't talk about Caddyshack 2. That is.
We don't even consider that. We don't care. If you haven't seen Dead Solid Perfect, check it out. It's really good.
Peter, you got one?
It's Caddyshack for me, always. Caddyshack and Tin Cup. I mean, you don't even mention Caddyshack 2. Never.
I thought you were going to go with Happy Gilmore. I thought you're Happy Gilmore.
I love that movie. That's actually really my favorite movie over Caddyshack is Happy Gilmore. Yeah.
Okay.
What I always hear the reference of Happy Gilmore is to serious golf people like Talladega Nights is the serious NASCAR. So I don't know how we're going to go with that one.
Better go to your hole. Go. What's too good for your hole?
Yeah. That's a great analogy right there. All right, Johnny Gerber. Thanks, man. I'm going to get on the betting app and get my picks in today. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys. Have a great day. Thanks.
This is going to be fun. I'm ready. I'm ready for a major championship this weekend. Ready to watch some of this. Some golf. Yeah. Happy Gilmore. Like, you don't even think of it as a golf.
It never gets old to me, though. And it's pretty good golf movie, although, it's not realistic. I mean, Adam Sandler, no golfer swinging like that. Nobody's doing
Happy Gilmore 2 coming out, baby.
Oh, is that coming? But Bob
Paige Spiranac is in. Paige Spiranac is in that. Can't wait to see her in that.
But Bob Barker is dead. How does that work?
Yeah, that's
they waited too long. It's like Dumb and Dumber. Like, you waited 20-25 years too long, and then it's not as good.
Yeah.
Like, does anybody remember
missed opportunity?
Yeah, it's like, come on. Why did it take so? Like, Adam Sandler's making all these movies on Netflix, which we've been talking about this whole show. How could you not come out with something with Barker being alive still? How does that work?
Oh, wait a minute. We got a comment here. We got a comment. Spot on impression from Jim Alderman. Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Brooks or Ludwig wins. That's an FSU guy right there picking Brooks.
Okay. All right. Good stuff.
Thank you, Jimmy. Good to see you around. Thanks for watching. Appreciate that. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back and I got some FSU stuff on the docket today. We have to talk about some awkward conversations going on at the ACC meetings this weekend. But we'll update you on the court cases that are the FSU versus, and now UNC, as predicted. UNC going to be joining the club here pretty soon as well. All right, quick break. We're brought to you by the great folks at Extravaganza Productions, extravaganzaproductions.com. If you got a big event coming up, you definitely want Extravaganza Productions. If you got a small event coming up, you definitely want Extravaganza Productions. Let the pros do the work. Find out what your budget is. Give them a call. It's a free call, a free meeting. They'll bring you in. Come on down to their warehouse, see all their incredible props that they have from doing all these great events all these years. You could use them for your charity event and come up with a great theme. So it's all there for you. Free creative meeting. Go to extravaganzaproductions.com. Call them, reach them through the website. Either email them or call them. Tell them JP sent you and get that free meeting and get your event taken care of. Back in 3. Stay with us. Are you looking to be more productive and healthier? Do you know chronic dehydration affects your overall health and well-being? 75% of the U.S. population suffers from dehydration, and many of us don't even know it. That was me before I was introduced to Hydrate Heroes. 8 times the benefits with hydration. A beverage with benefits more than just hydration. That's right, 8 times the benefits
with hydration. Hydrate Heroes provides a refreshing, great-tasting beverage powder to mix with water, providing elderberry, zinc, vitamin D, electrolytes, amla fruit, which provides a great source of vitamin C, along with a proprietary mushroom blend that has shown to help increase endurance and energy at the cellular level. Hydrate Heroes is so confident you're going to love the taste and the results. They are offering our listeners a special offer, a free 3-pack sample, no credit card needed. Just go to the jppetersonshow.com, the jppetersonshow.com, and click on Hydrate Heroes logo. Hydrate for health today with Hydrate Heroes.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance.
JP here for Extravaganza Productions. You know, I've worked with these pros on so many big and small events. They recently did the Kappa Alpha Psi Grand Reunion, the Tampa RV Show Exhibit. They did the Skills Center opening of Tampa Bay. They can do those small events. They do the biggest of events. So if you were thinking about planning a meeting or special event, call the talented staff at Team EPI. They will give you a free creative meeting if you mention the JP Peterson Show. They will provide you with an exceptional experience. Heck, they'll even show you their huge warehouse with great props. Anything you want. They'll do it on time and on budget. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll on this hump day, Wednesday. Peter Blake with the Sports Web is going to have he'll have a show tonight where they're going to go. When is the schedule released? 7 o'clock?
It's at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
But I would say we give it, we give everybody, time to kind of, prepare.
Marinate. Marinate.
Yeah, marinate a little bit. Give me some time to prepare to write everything down so I make sure I get it right, because I'm going to compare the schedule that I got, and we'll go 9 o'clock and we'll have wall-to-wall coverage with yours truly, Leo Haggerty. We'll have TJ Reeves on, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, Harry the Greek, anybody else that wants to come on, even yourself. If you're not watching Caddyshack, more than welcome to send you the link out and get your thoughts. And Bucks fans, call in and absolutely, talk about how many wins do you think? Is Vegas wrong? Because Vegas has them right now at 7.5, and we'll look forward to seeing who they play and if that schedule is correct, which we kind of gave out the first segment if you missed it. So,
there you go. Gonna go back and check it out.
Yeah.
The ACC meetings are going on this week, and so FSU is hanging out with their brethren there, and UNC, as we predicted, will be the next one to either file a lawsuit or just jump in on board with FSU and Clemson, they've already filed. I would expect UNC to do the same. Quote coming from there, trying to find this. David Bolek is the UNC trustee. It says Carolina's ability to maintain excellence at a high level is going to require really prudent budgeting and revenue models and potential cost cutting. A lot of it is due to the revenue or lack thereof revenue that we're not receiving from the ACC deal. We need to do everything we can to get there, or the alternative is the ACC is going to have to reconstruct itself. I think all options are on the table. Obviously, these other schools are trying to be very political and not say what they're saying very loudly for everyone to hear, and that's we're getting the hell out of the ACC unless something drastically changes. And as these two lawsuits have gone back and forth and the pleadings back and forth, and we had Scott Jeeves on to talk about this, and as he predicted, and I think many are coming to the realization that FSU and Clemson are leaving. And what the thing to simplify it for everybody, the ACC has this media rights deal with ESPN, right? And ESPN has the option to pick it up from the 25 season till I believe it is 30-32, or maybe actually below, and maybe it's 30-36. Anyway, another 12 years or something that goes on for these media rights. And ridiculously undervalued at 50% now, probably closer to 25% by the end of the with inflation, for God's sakes. And so ESPN, if FSU and Clemson leave, they're not going to pick up that rights deal, which means all the rights come back to everybody within the ACC to be renegotiated. So actually, FSU getting Clemson and now North Carolina to jump aboard is the death knell for ESPN, those rat bastards. Who screwed FSU. So in the end, what this comes back to is FSU is basically saying, okay, you want to go ahead and pick up the rights deal without FSU, Clemson, and now North Carolina, and I expect Miami to join as well. Even at 50 cents on the dollar, the ACC without those four programs, especially in football, right, it's worth about 25 cents on the dollar. So ESPN won't pick up the rights, and so everybody gets their rights back, and they move on, and everybody's happy. So the final trump card is FSU's to ESPN, FU in the end. So you're not going to make money off us for the next 12 years. You're not going to own the rights to our home games at a drastically below market value. And we're not going to be sitting around taking 40 or 50 million less than the Big Ten or the SEC trying to compete with these guys. North Carolina has come to the same realization. Miami certainly has, and everybody else in the league has as well. They just don't have the balls to do it, or the gravitas, frankly, or the TV revenue to do it. So, this is Mike Bianchi wrote a column in the Sentinel today and saying what, nobody wants to say is that FSU and Clemson have been carrying this conference for a very long time when it comes to media rights, and all the bottom feeders are parasites when it comes to that. I mean, you look at the SEC, you could only put, perhaps Vanderbilt in that category. Everybody else is you might say Mississippi State, but for the most part, everybody is held up their end of the bargain and add something to the SEC mix. Whereas, Wake Forest, some of these other smaller schools, even Duke, because, they've had some success in football recently, but some of these other ones just don't have the following that FSU does. And that's why this whole thing is breaking up. And so it's, at least in my estimation, and there've also been some reports out there that this is going to happen, and we've been talking about it for at least a year now. Sure. FSU will announce before August of this year, which I think is the deadline, that they're getting out of the ACC and they're moving to the Big Ten. And, whether it's 25 or 26 is probably still up for grabs in terms of negotiating this exit deal. And with the way it looks right now, unless by some miracle the ACC can find some ridiculously unscrupulous legal way to somehow hold on to their position, this is happening. And FSU is going to negotiate an exit fee probably in the $60 million mark and get the hell out and be in the Big Ten by 2025, which is good. Which is good for them. And we'll see if the ACC, what happens to it. And will they go and absorb the USFs of the world and try to hold on to what's left, or will they go the way of the Pac-12? We shall see. We shall see. But as they're at the meetings this week, and I'm sure there's a lot of uncomfortable conversations that are being had. But
is it the Big Ten or is it the SEC?
For FSU, it's the Big Ten, in my opinion.
Okay.
In my opinion. I don't think the SEC wants Florida State, and I don't think Florida State wants the SEC. And I love the people in the SEC. Oh, Florida State's still running away from the SEC. Florida does not want FSU in the SEC. They never have. They never will. I think the SEC is still butthurt that the ACC turned them down back in the 90s and went to the ACC. And I contend it was the right decision to make at the time. I was there in Tallahassee when that whole thing went down, and the SEC came in with their arrogant attitude and weren't going to give Florida State a fair share of revenue for years and years to come. And we're going to treat them like the redheaded stepchild. And I think if FSU went to the SEC right now, that's the way they would be treated. The SEC would be holding their nose and just taking FSU so the Big Ten didn't get them. Not because they want them. Not because they want. Do you want to go somewhere where you're not really wanted? And now you're subject to their leadership. And what kind of schedule are they going to give you? How are you going to be treated? There's a lot of things, subjective things that go on in terms of scheduling and who gets on TV and who doesn't get on TV, who gets the primetime slots, who doesn't. You think FSU's getting those slots? No. You want to go somewhere where in the Big Ten where you're wanted and you're valued, and you become part of a national conference instead of becoming a Southeastern regional conference. I think it's a good move from the university standpoint. I hate to say academically, it's not about academics as much as people want to make it. It's about football. It's about money. It's what it's about. And I think there'll be a fine fit there. And, the home schedule will get a hell of a lot better.
All right, so I want to go out to this right here. Tim, is Peter suggesting Bob Barker was a key player in Happy Gilmore? Come on, man. Don't be a hater. He kind of was, although,
I got to side with Tim here. Bit player. Great scene. The ass-kicking scene.
Right.
Fantastic. Very memorable, but a bit player.
I don't know. You could have relived that again. We're going to have part 2 of that because that was great stuff. And then
CGI, baby. CGI. We'll bring it back.
And then Carl Weathers, but he was killed off, but he's kind of dead. I don't know. And then the Jackass guy. You will miss you, Jackass. He just passed away.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Yeah, who cares? Bit players.
The bit players.
You getting Paige Spiraniak in there? Who's the other girl that's going to play the love interest? What's her name?
I don't know. Is it Salma Hayek again? Because every movie it's
either it's somebody,
or Jennifer Aniston.
No, it's. I'll look it up.
But by the way, congratulations to Tim out there. I was looking at his articles the other day, man. Great job with the Bucks. You do a great job.
Yeah, he's starting to write for the Bucks. Great article he had yesterday about some sports radio host talking about Antoine Winfield. Definitely
who was that guy? Who's that guy who was talking about it?
Oh, I don't know.
He's on every
around
day.
Forever.
12, yeah. Works for the Lightning too. So
yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah, check it out. It's a nice article. Very nice article. All right, so that's FSU. Wanted to talk a little bit about that. What else did we wanted to get to?
Well, it's official. Netflix will air 2 games on Christmas Day this season and at least 1 game on the holiday each of the next 2 years. They announced this on Wednesday. No matchups for the Christmas Day games were revealed prior to the full 2024 schedule release Wednesday night, but the 4 teams involved this year will play a rare Wednesday regular season contest. They say there are no live annual events, sports or otherwise, that compare with the audiences that NFL football attracts.
Ooh, shot at the NBA Christmas schedule.
Oh, well, it is. We're so excited. The NFL Christmas Day games will be only on Netflix. Of course, that was the Netflix chief content officer, Bella Bajari, said in his statement. And again, they're also going to have WWE Raw starting in 2025. So the only way you're going to be able to watch Raw from now on is on Netflix. So you got boxing on Netflix, you got NFL football, and you've got WWE Raw starting in 2025. So Netflix, man, taking over everything at this point. All right.
Looks like the Times just dropped a story on ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips. What a feckless nut job this guy is. So the ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips, it's from Matt Baker of the Times, didn't waste much time Wednesday before addressing the elephant in the room, the lawsuits and potential exits by Florida State and Clemson. It's difficult, Phillips said on the final day of the spring meetings. It's disruptive. It's harmful. but that's the world we live in. They have the ability to do the things that they're doing, and we'll let the legal folks handle it because that's the right thing to do. It hasn't changed one iota about how we've interacted with them, how we've treated them, certainly how we've treated the student athlete, and it shouldn't. It just shouldn't, because I think you have to be professional enough to understand these things happen, and it warrants classy, professional, respectful treatment in return. Nice words.
Yeah.
Nice words. Where were you? Where were you when the whole damn playoff thing was going down, Jim Phillips? Where the hell were you? You certainly weren't out stumping like the SEC commish was. Why? Because you were in bed with the whole damn thing.
Right.
You and Bo and the whole ESPN shenanigans going on. But in the end, I've said this many times, if that, and that was the final straw, and I think gave them the legal standing to be doing what they're doing. The snub. So in the end, if the snub gets FSU out of this rinky-dink conference and into a real conference in terms of football and every other sport too, then so be it. So be it. That's the price you pay. It would have been tough for FSU to win the playoff last year. I think they would have been definitely competitive, especially with all the players they had drafted. Hello, ding dong.
Yeah.
But that's history, and Mike Norvell is treating it as such and moving forward. So bring on Georgia Tech in Dublin, and away we go.
Yeah.
All right, let's take one more break. I get hit one more break, and when we come back, we'll finish up with a couple other. The international games are out, the slate for the NFL, so we'll hit that. Spoiler alert, the Bucs are not going anywhere international. I thought they might be heading to Germany, but they are not. So we'll do that when we come back. We're brought to you by the great folks at Hydrate Heroes. Go get your free 3-pack at tryhydrateheroes.com. Tryhydrateheroes.com. Tim Ham's favorite new drink. Peter's. Have you got your samples yet? We got to get you the samples.
You got to get the samples. Yeah, got to get it.
Tryhydrateheroes.com. Back in 3. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset. So make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative Charity is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this hump day, along with Peter Blake, as we wrap things up here. Fun show today. Appreciate you guys jumping in. Get to some of the comments too.
Well, I want to read this. Tom Brady appeared on the Pivot podcast. Of course, you know he got $25 million to do this on what else? The Roast on Netflix, which, by the way, somebody has to say to Tom Brady, hey, the roast is the roast, okay? They're going to say all kinds of mean things about you and your family, and you're going to have to deal with it. Well, Brady has kind of backpedaled after taking the $25 million from Netflix, saying, I like when the jokes were about me. I thought they were so fun. I didn't like the way they affected my kids. By the way, why are his kids watching a roast at that time of the night? He says also,
well, did you think they weren't going to watch it? They're old enough.
Well,
come on.
Yeah, no parroting going on.
Don't take $25 million and then complain that the way it affected the kids. Jesus.
Like, you can give the $25 million to your kids at this point. He said it's the hardest part about it, like the bittersweet aspect of when you do something that you think is one way, and then all of a sudden you realize I wouldn't do that again because of the way it affected actually the people that I care about the most in the world. So coming back from retirement a couple times wouldn't affect your family at all, right? Yeah. Okay. And by the way, first game, it's going to be Dallas versus the Cleveland Browns. He's going to be in the booth. What do you think of these comments? And is it must-see TV for you that first week of the season? Are you watching Cowboys versus the Browns?
Yeah.
For Tom Brady and his inside.
Yeah. And I'm hoping to God Jameis Winston starting. That'll be even more fun. We'll see us. But anyway, I'm gonna be interested to see how Tom is as a broadcaster. I'm gonna tune in to see that, and I think he'll be very drab, and I think he'll be very cliche, and I think he won't hold anybody to task. And for him to say, he didn't think it was going to affect his kids. Like, come on, bro. Have you never seen a roast? Have you never seen? Did you not know what was coming? That's a little disingenuous there, to say the very least.
Yeah, and you got Jeff Ross,
unlike Tom Brady.
Right. And by the way, Todd Bowles admitted that he likes Nikki Glaser. Nikki Glaser was the best out of the bunch. I mean, she absolutely
ripped it.
Gronk. I mean, you saw Gronk. I mean, I got a chance. I watched
Gronk was great. Gronk was great.
Gronk is great, but he was definitely trash. And then Bill Belichick. I thought that was the cherry on the cake there.
Awkward. Him and Kraft doing the shot. That was awkward.
Yes.
International schedule, of course, we already knew. Starting off, it's the Packers and the Eagles in Corinthians Arena in Sao Paulo, Brazil. God help the Brazilians. The Eagles fans are coming down there, and the Cheeseheads. In the London games, Jets and Vikings. October 6th, Jags and Bears. October 13th, and then October 20th, it's the Patriots and the Jaguars. And Munich, I'm going to sneeze again. The Giants and the Panthers on November 10th. Thought it might be the Bucs, but it's not.
Well, there you go. That's good news because it's the NFC's turn to play 9 home games this year. So the Bucs will get 9 home games.
That's good.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and it takes away, you go to an international game, and I get it. It's good for the expansion of the league and everything like that, and good for the international fans. But you know who gets left out in the cold? The diehard, the Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans, or the fans of their respective teams. They miss out on that home game. That's the disappointing part about the international series, in my opinion.
Agreed. By the way, one quick note in baseball. Did you see this? Ronel Blanco threw the no-hitter earlier. The Astros cheating again. Shocking development. He was thrown out of the game last night against the A's in the 4th inning for having, quote, the stickiest stuff I've felt on a glove, according to Laz Diaz. How do you put the sticky stuff? They're checking you, and you still go out there and do it. The arrogance of which the Astros cheat is mind-numbing sometimes. Like, they just don't care. They just don't.
Out on the garbage cans, that's what they need to do. Just continue to do that. That's working.
And a Joe Bucks fan saying the Bucks may be in-season Hard Knocks candidates.
Whoa!
Love to
Now,
see
is
that.
that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Is that a distraction? Because we remember the last
It's a
time.
distraction. It's a distraction.
And
There's no-
2017, what was the event before that season that happened that really kind of hurt the Bucks at that time?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. That
Hurricane
was
Irma.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved the Hard Knocks when the Bucks won. I thought it was fantastic. I don't know if it hurt them or helped them in terms of winning on the field. I think that's kind of overblown. In season might be a little bit different because I don't care what you say. The cameras change. They change everything. So from a Bucks fan standpoint, I would love to see all the behind the scenes stuff. Although I think the team does a pretty damn good job of that anyway. To be quite honest, but Hard Knocks is a different level stuff. I think I don't want it for the team in terms of winning and losing, but selfishly for me and the media, yeah, I'd love to see it. Absolutely. All right. Great job, my friend. Appreciate you. Thanks for all of you watching. We appreciate you guys so much. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, The JP Peterson Show, and FanStream Sports. Also our podcast as well on Apple and Spotify and wherever you get your podcast. You can listen to the show anytime and download our app, FanStream Sports app, where you can click on that and listen to the show anytime. Have a great day, everybody. Don't forget, Peter will be on tonight at 9 o'clock with the schedule reveal and the sports web. And we'll see you tomorrow.